If you're a parent, this conversation is probably one you've had 1,000 times. Social media, it's this constant source of worry, and now it's blown up into a huge national debate right here in Canada. And the big question everyone's asking is, should we actually ban it for kids under 16?
I mean, this quote from Tara Borowiecki, who's both a mom and a teacher, just hits right at the heart of it, doesn't it? It's that feeling you get when you see how totally all-consuming this stuff is, and you can't help but worry about what that means for your own kids down the line. It really captures the core anxiety of this whole debate.
So if that's ringing a bell for you, trust me, you are not alone. Not even close. This isn't some niche concern that only a few people have. It's a massive, nationwide feeling. And the data on this is, well, it's pretty staggering.
Okay, just take a look at the sheer scale of this. A study from the Angus Reid Institute found that Canadians are pretty much unanimous on this. We're talking over 90% of people are worried about things like addiction, mental health impacts, online predators, misinformation, and cyberbullying. These numbers are just off the charts.
Let's just pull out that top number for a second. 94%. That's the percentage of Canadians concerned about social media leading to addiction and damaging kids' mental health. This isn't some divisive political issue. It's something almost everyone in the country agrees on.
So, when you have that many people this worried, the conversation naturally shifts, right? It's no longer, is there a problem? It's become, what on earth do we do about it? And that brings us to a really bold idea that's starting to get some serious traction.
And what's on the table is a full nationwide ban on social media for anyone under the age of 16. This isn't just talk either. It's actually inspired by what's happening in Australia, which is on track to be the first country to actually do this, starting in 2025.
And get this, public support for this idea here in Canada? It's huge. 75%. That means 3 out of every 4 Canadians are saying, yeah, I'd support a ban like that. That is a massive mandate for change.
But here's where it gets interesting. Let's dig a little deeper into who supports this. While 3/4 of all Canadians back a ban, the support among parents is actually a little bit lower at 70%. Now, that's still a huge majority, but that little dip kind of hints at the complexity of it all for parents. They're the ones on the front lines who would have to navigate this every day.
Right, but a ban isn't just a simple on-off switch. Because let's be real, not all social media is seen the same way in the public's eyes. When you start asking people which specific apps they're worried about, a pretty clear hierarchy starts to form.
You can really see a pecking order here. Apps like TikTok, X, and Snapchat are right at the top of the list. Almost 90% of people would support banning them for kids. Instagram is right up there too. Even Facebook and Reddit get a thumbs down from nearly 3/4 of people. But then you hit YouTube, and whoa, the support for a ban just falls off a cliff to less than half. It's way more divisive, and part of that might be because YouTube argues a ban could actually backfire, by pushing kids to platforms with even less oversight.
Okay, so this is where it all comes together. All this data, the high level of concern, the strong support for a ban, it leads us to this really fascinating central paradox at the very heart of how Canadians feel about all of this.
All right, so here's the kicker. Even though a huge majority of people support a government-enforced ban, an almost identical majority, 72%, believe that at the end of the day, it's parents, not the government, who should be the ones mainly responsible for regulating their kids' social media.
Let's just spell that out because it's a real head-scratcher. 3/4 of us want a government ban. But at the same time, almost the exact same number of us believe parents should be in charge. It's like we want the rule, we want the protection, but we want to be the ones to actually enforce it. So what gives? It could just be that deep-down belief in a parent's right to choose, or maybe it's just a fundamental lack of trust that the government could get something like this right.
And don't think this is just some theoretical debate. This is really happening. It's moving through policy circles right now. With Australia taking that big step, our own government here in Canada has admitted its laws on online harms are lagging. The whole topic is even on the agenda for the upcoming Liberal Party convention. So yeah, this debate is only going to get louder.
So that's where we are. As Canada figures out what to do next, this is the fundamental question we're all wrestling with. It's this incredibly delicate balancing act, and there are no easy answers. We see the harm, we want to protect our kids, but we also deeply value the role of parents and personal responsibility. Finding that balance, well, that's the challenge ahead for all of us.